From the past until the present, animal has evolved the ability to survive. And we as human are no less than them. Why? Because we have evolved the ability to communicate. Because we depend on one another. And with that, we have evolved to become more self-dependent. But not in this era. Why? Well, because study shows from the OECD that 70% of students have low literacy skill due to the lack of understanding of the text. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, my name is Asan and today I am going to tell all of you about something that we have lost throughout decades and technological advances. And that is literacy. But before I talk about it, I want to ask all of you something first. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word literacy in the context of my speech? Well, some of you might be thinking literacy is just writing, reading, speaking, like what I'm doing currently. Well, it's not wrong, but it's a more simplified version of what literacy actually is. Literacy is the ability to understand, create, identify, and communicate using read materials across various contexts. And in today's world, where we have evolved technology to such a degree that we don't even realize, we depend on technology all the time, and we don't even depend on ourselves anymore, or other people in that matter. But study shows from the PISA that most of the lost literacy is in the younger generations. Maybe it's between the year early 2010s Gen Z or Gen Alpha. But some of us might be thinking, what do I exactly mean by those statements? Well, instead of showing all of you what, it's more easy and effective if I show you some example and my own experience on how I deal with this. And the first off is my experience on how I deal with this problem. The first time I got introduced to AI, I thought to myself, wow, this is gonna make me study much harder and more effective. But that was the case until the more I use it, the more I realize, man, I actually never do anything myself anymore. Like studying. I don't study because I can just use AI to do everything for me. And the second example is the last characteristic of communicating. Because most of us here barely talks or rarely talks. But even if we do talk, it's through a screen, via email or an app. It's really hard for us to express ourselves if we send somebody a text. For example, I want to express my gratitude to someone, or I want to say sorry to someone. It's really hard for me to do so because writing a text I can't replicate the human emotion that comes if I say sorry in real life and texting someone, I am sorry. It is very different. And last but not least is the last characteristic of self-dependence. Because most of us here have used technology in some way, shape, or form to do something for us, right? Well, maybe your reason of doing so is because you can't do it, or you're unable to do it, or maybe you're just lazy. Well, we do that so much that we don't even realize, we don't even bother doing anything ourselves anymore. We just let technology do everything for us. Because, we are human. We make mistakes, but technology, machine, they don't. Well, I do have a solution to all of those problems that help me handle it much better. And that is just to limit yourself on how much you can use technology. I'm not saying that we need to ban all technology together, no. Or I'm saying you can't use technology anymore, no, not at all. My solution is much simpler. It's just limiting yourself on how much you can use technology and be more self-confident. That is all for my speech. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.